That's where you call it as.
Website important. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. One second. I think I am I'm live. Uh, One second. Okay, I'm just gonna close this off. Okay, hi everyone. Hi guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. Okay, so it's gonna be a pretty interesting session. I have two students with me. They're from SIB Pune, second year students. And today we're going to talk about, how you can actually get into this top 20 B school with sort of a diversified profile, decent profile, but at lowest percentile. So I've got two students. Nikita. Nikita actually cracked SIBM Pune at just 97.50 percentile. And Harshita, she cracked SIBM Pune at 98.61. I mean, anyway, both of if you look at the percentile, are not above 99. And there are people I've seen over a period of time that even at 99.50, you do not actually crack SIBM Pune. But the session is not going to be just for SIBM Pune. We will be asking them how did they improve their profile. That is number one. Yesterday we had one student, jiska profile bilkul bhi nahi tha. He built on the profile eventually. He was a great example of smart work and hard work. Today we have folks with us, those who've got good profile. So we're going to talk about that, and eventually we also will be getting to know about SIBM as a brand and everything. So I would invite both of them. Okay, so Harshita and Nikita, guys, thank you so very much for joining me today. Um, Students are waiting for you. So I sort of want both of you to kind of give your introduction पहले कि अभी एक साल हो चुका है
Yeah.
SIBM and so we'll talk about pre-SIBM and post-SIBM wala sort of era. So how did you start with your preparation? So to talk about Snap first. Following videos and all that. So let's talk about Snap. Like, how tough is it? Is it really tough to crack Snap?
Okay, so I'll just start with a brief introduction about myself. So, hello everybody, and thank you for joining this live. We are glad that we are here to share some of our tips and tricks for all the aspirants who are here. So, my name is Nikita Iyer, and I am currently a second year MBA student at SIBM Pune. And so I'm an engineer. I did my engineering in electronics engineering from Nagpur, RCOEM, and post that I worked at Accenture Private Limited in Vikhroli, Mumbai for 2 years. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, so jumping to my preparation strategy. So for Snap specifically, I was really focused towards that. More of non IIMs. I was focusing more towards the other examinations as well, because I at one point of time I kind of figured it out that if not CAT, then maybe something else. I have to have a good like backup, not backup exactly, but yeah, I need to be like think about the other colleges as well, like pretty good colleges, and SIBM comes under the top 15 colleges as we know. So with respect to Snap preparation, I would say that I overall including all the CAT preparation and everything, I started from June. Like so CAT was in November and Snap was in December. So the proper studying part I started in June. So again, I would say that is I started that would I call it a bit late, because again I was preparing initially as well. I appeared for CAT like 2 times before that, but again I could not crack, and this time as well. This time as in last year as well. So and with respect to Snap, again, Snap is quite different, the difficulty level wise, and the paper pattern and everything. And again, if we see this year, Snap had undergone a change that the GK section was removed, and now we only have the DILR, or the arts reading comprehension section, the English, the verbal ability, and the quantitative. And so again, when it comes to the preparation, I focused more on speed calculations when it comes to quantitative ability. So there were a lot of online practices. I followed a lot of Ketan sir's video as well online, if you see. So initially in the initial phases, I had some books I were referring to that. But when it comes to, quick tips and tricks, so Ketan sir used to keep on uploading a lot of videos. So that was very helpful for me, if I would say. And again, I had to keep writing a lot of mocks. Again, I would like to say, I mean, right now maybe you are in the phase of studying right now and completing all your topics and everything, since it's just July. But when you come towards say October onwards, that is the time when you have to start writing your mock seriously. Even if you start before, well and good, but
How many
October is, yeah.
given?
Yeah, sorry.
Any rough number? How many mocks you might have given for Snap?
For Snap particularly, I gave around 12 to
12
15.
mocks.
Yeah.
Fair.
And sectional tests separately, that also quite helped me with the speed. So if you want to improve your speed, I would definitely suggest you all to go for sectional tests as well.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Now let's go to Harshita. I don't want her to feel left alone. Otherwise, she'll be like, "Oh, what the fuck? Like, मुझे तो कुछ है नहीं." Harshita, over to you. And again, I'm gonna come back to you also. Okay, just hang in there. Harshita, quick, brief introduction of yours. Like you can continue. One second. One second. Nikita, I think you are. Now you're audible.
Yeah. Okay. Hi everyone. I am Harsha Srivastava from and I am currently pursuing finance from SIBM Pune. So before MBA, I'm an engineer. So I completed my engineering in electronics and communication, and post that I had a work experience of 11 months as a content writer with a startup. So like I had this idea of pursuing MBA while I was graduating, and while working as a content writer, I prepared for MBA. So I had various exams in my mind, like which I'll be sitting for. So CAT, SNAP, IFT were few of them, and I was preparing according to exams. So definitely the pattern of SNAP is different from what is it for CAT, because CAT is more difficult questions and more time, but SNAP is like comparatively easier, is on the easier side. We have an easier question, but we have a time crunch. And also it had GK when I appeared for SNAP. So there was a different strategy as I was preparing for SNAP. So as Nikita said, I sat for a lot of mocks, because as I was preparing for that, the concepts were very clear. So the only thing that I had to add on was speed and GK. So for GK, a lot of compendiums which were available online, and also I was following compendium series from Career Launcher. So that was one. And I read a lot of newspapers to get updated on GK. That was that side. And for speed, I gave a lot of mocks. So for SNAP, there were days when I gave like 2 mocks a day. And then when exams came closer, I used to give 1 mock a day, and then I used to analyze it. So analyzing mock is very important. I'll say it's more important than giving it, because that.
I'm gonna stop here. I don't want to get into snap up or a zone lecture. एक interesting चीज मुझे लगा आप दोनों के बारे में, and I am gonna talk a lot about that because it's going to be like sort of a profile. Nikita and Harshita, you are a finance girl. You are an engineer. Then you went for finance. पहली बात, this is, I mean, it's not weird though, but a lot of engineers are now going for finance. But you opted for finance, like engineer ke baad. That's still okay, because I've seen most of the time BCom bacha log going for finance. But what is odd here is that you were doing a job with startup that was a content writer. So the first question that I would love to ask you is that engineering ke baad finance plus profile mein content writing ka aapka 11 months ka work is, what sort of questions were asked to you during the interview? Okay, so that's number one for you. Nikita, for you, again, you are an engineer and you are now getting into HR, okay? And you come with the Accenture work case, like around about 2 years. And I'm very sure your work case was not in the HR domain, but still, now there is no synergy actually. So engineer and HR might be engineer, finance, and then content writing. So SIBM Pune being like, top 15, top 20, it's one of the biggest brand in the country. How did these things help you as a part of your profile? Nikita, you can start first, then we can move to Harshita.
Okay, so as far as MBA is concerned, okay, so again, I don't really think your past work will be the only deciding factor to get into a good college. There are a lot of other factors as well. I mean, the college definitely goes through your academics and your co-curricular activities, your extracurricular activities. So that is where I got an edge over other candidates. So I am also a theater artist and a Bharatanatyam dancer and a Carnatic singer. So, and apart from that, I have also been associated with various social organizations like Make a Difference and Robin Hood Army. So so in Make a Difference as well, I held 2 to 3 positions of responsibilities, and I was also a part of Rotaract Club of my college. So so on and so forth. My profile building, actually, I started developing right from my engineering days. And so I definitely had a lot of accolades. Like I hold a bachelor's degree in Bharatanatyam as well. So all these I was doing right from my engineering days. And that's when I got into my engineering days, I actually realized, I started to realizing in my second, third year that, okay, I mean, if you don't want to continue for your job, or even if you want to continue for a specific amount of time, masters is something, one usually does, or it's ought to be done, because it definitely gives you an edge in this competitive era, definitely. And for MBA, I specifically had an inclination towards HR right from the beginning itself. And I used to keep reading about HR, that what commonalities are there in my personality and interest that I can align with HR. So I read up a lot on internet. So there are various sites like HR Katha and People Matter. So these are very HR specific sites. So I got to know while I was in the preparation zone. So initially also simultaneously I was going through, key specialization. Again, it should not be right from the beginning that you have to fixate your mind at one specialization. But since I had interest in HR, so that's why I used to keep reading about it. And then when I joined, it was easier for me to decide. Okay, now coming back to my profile, as you say, that how did I manage as an engineer? I was completely working as an analyst, software development analyst. Like I was an Oracle Unix administrator, working in the support team of my project. So then when I was there in my company, so there were a lot of HR related things happening. So I got in touch with the HR of my company, so just to know as to how it functions. And also these little bit of interest development I gathered from how an organization is managed, how are the employees managed, how's the company managed. It starts right from the base. So that's when I realized, okay, I have an inclination towards these things. And apart from that, there were a lot of learning and development tools that were being taken care of. So HR doesn't really mean that, okay, hire kar diya ya fire kar diya. It's not really comes to that. HR has a lot of other domains. We take care of the compensation and benefits, and we have talent acquisition, talent management. So there are a lot of
I'm going to stop here. So something that I can summarize your entire part is that you tried your level best to have this synergy between what you were earlier and what you wanted to do. So that's the one thing that these aspirants can look out for. That doing any random shit on your resume and having those 10, 20, 50 points on your resume does not make or does not build your profile. Like the way you started with Bharatanatyam, the way you started taking care of all this HR stuff and all that, you were actually towards making your profile. Though you were an engineer and then Accenture and everything, but your profile, the to-do list or whatever the bullet points, I think they were quite close to HR. So that's where it actually helped you. So fabulous. So Harshita, how this content thing helped you, man? I'm a little surprised.
So like my story goes like this, just when I entered engineering, so in my first year only I was part of the technical club, which was Enthran. So I was there and I was I was the core member, and in my final year I became the committee head of my college. So that showed my progression in my graduation part, that I, apart from my studies, because I maintained a good CGPA in my college as well. So from my studies, I had like a lot of diverse activities going on parallelly. Along with that, I was also part of literature club. Like it's an overall literature club known as Slingo Freaks. So from that club part, my content writing got linked. that I had this interest and inclination towards literature. And when it comes to when the profile, when I was sitting for an interview, I had these questions like, you had this content writing profile. Like, why don't you continue there, because you have this inclination. But again, the thing is like, I have got a lot of learning while I was working in a startup. But while I was there, I saw a lot of people working at a very minute level, like grassroots level, as a startup is only building up. So I think it was a 2-year-old startup. So I got to know a lot of about. So while I was working as a content writer, I had my fellow colleagues who were working with the balance sheets and accounts and looking for the financials of the startup. So that had my idea. So that caught my eye. And also, while I was like preparing for like all these examinations, so I used to read a lot. I still do that. So I used to read a lot of economics, and like I tried a lot of genres, but economics was something where I had this inclination. And like while I was in SIBM Pune, I had this doubt between finance or operations, because I did not had this very clear in my mind that what specialization I'm gonna take. But it was like 60-40, either finance or operations. But later on, we had a lot of sessions in the college, which helped us, to finalize what specialization we want to have. So we had a lot of alums coming in, telling us about various fields. So that made me that ensured me to choose finance as my majors.
Okay. So one thing I want to ask both of you. See, now when you talk about profile building, or when you talk about, let's say, work experience, or when you talk about, let's say, doing an internship, right? I have always seen that, I mean, that's my perspective, that either you go for a top-notch brand, you go for Lakme, you go for, HUL, you go for P&G and all that, bloody big brands, and do nothing over there. Because, it's completely a process. Like, you might not be able to do any work out there. So you have brand on your profile, and work is not that great. Else, join the startup, get your hands dirty, slog it out. It's not that a brand as a startup, but the work that you do is actually testing yourself. What, according to you guys, is the best thing? I mean, both of them are good at their own perspective as such. But then it's not going to be possible for every student out there who has just done with his graduation, or who is actually trying to get an internship. So how this startup thing helps bacha log when they are aiming for top 20-25 issues?
So I'll tell you. So what happens is, most of the time we mention a lot of skills in our CV while we go in for G5, and the interviewer, who has already interviewed a lot of people, he has an eye to catch if that you have mentioned, do you really have them? And like when you work and when you really get your hands dirty in any startup, or for say any company which is growing, and you have really worked it out and you have had your hands dirty there, so you basics, and somehow while you are telling them, when they'll ask you about your work ex, and when you tell them about it, it shows in the way you tell it. Like if they ask me about the content writing, I told them about like what all content I wrote, who all were there, what was my target group, how many, what was the frequency of my contents going on. So I can tell you the minute basics, because I have had my hands dirty there. But for example, if I have been a part of any organization where as such I have not worked much, and I have the brand in my CV, but I do not exactly have that experience, that way I cannot tell you what exactly I've done, or what are the minute details. I can obviously talk about the I can talk about overall, like this is the process, but I won't be able to tell you what exactly I have done there. So that obviously shows in the interview process, because the interviewer will definitely get it, whether you have had done it or you are just writing it for the sake of writing.
Okay, so when you talk about Snap, right, when you look at the percentile, because SIBM Pune, that everybody wants to get into SIBM Pune, one of the best brands. How is it important that for any student to get 99, 99.5, 99.60, because they get the crack at 97.50. You also the crack at 98.50, 61 मेरे ख्याल से. So you guys had tremendous academies. Is that the case, or you guys had good profile, which actually helped you to kind of venture into SIBM Pune?
I think that it's both, because nothing is left behind, neither academics and neither profile. So so everything has a weightage. And you can't say that only academics will save you or only profile will save you. I think it's both the things. Yeah.
Okay. Nikita, what's your take on it? What happened in your case actually?
Yeah, I rightly agree with Harshita as well. So again, like your interview day matters a lot as well. So what happens on that day is also, and you know how well you are able to portray yourself in front of the interviewers, right? So and definitely when it comes to your CV or what, you know, whatever you're presenting to them, you know, what are the pointers that you want to
Okay. Okay, I think we've got a lag in Nikita's connection. Okay, coming back to you, Harshita. So when you talk about SIBM Pune, right? I have heard that it's not that easy to crack SIBM Pune ka interview as such. I mean, you can get 99.xx percentile. Sometimes it's possible. Nikita, I'm sorry, we lost you because of the internet connection. So, how tough is it to actually crack SIBM Pune if you have, let's say, 97.5? Because I was shocked when I heard 97.50 maybe crack hota hai. So, how is the interview process? What exactly SIBM Pune is looking into your profile?
So what happens is, like, after you are done, like you have cleared the percentile. Next round is the group exercise, personal interview, and written ability test. So these things have nothing to do with your preparation which you have done during your snap. Okay, so for this you need another. So this process, GEPIWAT process, this basically judges your personality and you as a person, like what soft skills you have come with and what other skills you have, like what do you offer to the college. So for group exercise, when you sit, so it basically judges your group dynamics, your intellectual thinking, how quick you are, and like all the soft skills which are required by managers. So these things cannot be judged from snap. It has there very difficult processes are planned by the institute for judging the people. And again, then coming to written ability test, it shows like how quickly you can think about it, how well you can articulate about something. So it tests how well you can write and how well you can articulate. And then personal interview is, again, the interviewer will judge your personality from top to bottom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nikita, the question to you is from the HR perspective. Let's say now all these guys, those who are planning for CAT, SNAP, and all that, if they want to build up their profile, okay, SIBM Pune is very much profile oriented college, and I'm very sure whatever number of students are studying there, at least 90% people must be having a killer profile. What are your advice to kind of start with it? So let's say finance or HR. What sort of certification needs to be done by these guys?
Okay, so when it comes to HR specifically, see, there are no prerequisites as compared to marketing, operations, or finance. Okay, like finance people tend to do CFA, or you know, operations, you know, they focus more on Six Sigma, you know, certifications, and marketing again has, you know, abundance of certifications to be done. But when it comes to HR again, see, I personally did not do any kind of separate certification. There are no prerequisites, as I said. There is, I mean, definitely you have like a plethora of courses online. You have Coursera, you have Udemy, and you know, edX. So so on and so forth. So you know, if you have time initially also, and you are interested towards these specialization, then you can start. You know, there are a lot of trial and free versions that you can, you know, log into for some duration of time.
So my question is, does it really make any sort of value addition towards your profile? Like, I mean,
Yes.
I mean, you are doing something on Coursera, which is definitely, it's kind of a free thing, and you just got the certificate done. So number one, as an SIBM Pune, like when I look at Coursera, anybody and everybody can do it. You did not see, because your profile, you actually put in hours. You know the organization. You had your profile in sync with that. That's number one. Just by doing this certification on Coursera, because as an interviewer, I know everybody and anybody can do it. That's number one. So how does it kind of help, or maybe it does not help? That's you can tell me. During the interview, that's number one. Number two, same certification. Do they help at the time of final placement? Because वो certification तो रहेगा end तक, Coursera वाला जो भी Udemy का जो भी है. So do they help in the final placement also?
See, when it comes to these courses now, So what I do, I look at them with a knowledge perspective and not
Right.
really profile building perspective. So
Right,
these
that's right.
courses are currently very important to build your knowledge, because I mean, some courses are really beautifully designed when it comes to, you know, there are, again, like I mentioned, a few of the sites. So some of the courses are very beautifully designed. You have different kind of exercises and questionnaire, and you have to pass the test, etc. So if that person, if the student is also, you know, willingly doing it, and with, you know, I mean, definitely if you're going to give a test, you'll get answers on Google itself and you can just get a certificate out of it. But then if you're putting it on your CV, and if you're cross question on that and you're not able to answer,
Right.
there's no point, right? So I would suggest all the students to, you know, access these courses with the priority being knowledge perspective, because whenever you're talking, even if you do one course and if you have like A to Z knowledge of it, bang on. I mean, if you've been asked any kind of question on it, then you're good to go, right? So
Right.
again,
Right.
your
Right.
approach also depends. It's not like, I mean, I can have 50 certificates, but again, it should be that you, if you have like 50 certificates ke hisab ka knowledge you have got, right, then nothing like it. So again, profile development ke liye definitely courses would help, but then if you're doing it with the right approach.
या बिकॉज आई टेल यू अभी फंडा पता है क्या हो गया है? अभी फंडा बच्चों को ऐसा लगता है कि प्रोफाइल बिल्ड करना है ना, खत्म। मतलब क्या करना है, रेज्यूमे भरना है। तो सिंपल सी बात है, एक तो कुछ नहीं लिखा है रेज्यूमे में, तो बच्चा लोग फॉन्ट बढ़ाएगा, 18 से 20 22 करेगा, खींच खींच के पूरा। इट डजंट वर्क लाइक दैट। दूसरी चीज ये है कि पीपल डू राइट, मैं सीआर था मेरी क्लास का, मैं एसआर था मेरी क्लास का, फिर कोई बोलेगा मैं कंपनी में काम करता था, यू नो, वहां पे भी अगर कोई एचआर करना चाहता है, वहां पे भी लोग एचआर का, यू नो, क्वालिटी दिखाते हैं कि यार मैं आउटिंग्स अरेंज करता था, या फिर मैं सबको बर्थडे के टाइम पे, यू नो, ईमेल भेजता था। लाइक पीपल नाउ आर टुवर्ड्स, यू नो, स्टफिंग देयर रिज्यूमे कि भाई क्या सर्टिफिकेट है, ये सब डाल दो। अच्छा, कॉलेज में कोई छोटा मोटा, मतलब तुम्हारी असाइनमेंट है जहाँ पे तुमको 20 मार्क्स मिलने वाले हैं, वो असाइनमेंट आपने करी, बच्चे लोग वो भी डाल देगा, मैंने ये भी करा, मैंने ये भी करा। तो इतनी चीजें डालना, लाइक जब हम टॉप 20 स्कूल के बारे में बात करते हैं, समथिंग व्हिच इज एलिट लाइक एसआईबीएम पुणे, ये बातें डाइजेस्ट होती है पैनल को? मतलब आई मीन लाइक हर एक बच्चे के लिए मैं पूछ रहा हूँ, या फिर इससे अच्छा है कि भाई एक दो कोर्सेज करो प्यार से, बकायदा बाइज्जत, रेज्यूमे को छोड़ दो, रादर देन यू नो काइंड ऑफ डिटोरेटिंग द क्वालिटी ऑफ रेज्यूमे। व्हाट्स योर टेक ऑन इट?
So there are two things to this. So first thing is that while they're preparing for such entrance exams and interview processes, they really don't get such classes where they're told what exactly has to go in the CV, because they're preparing, and as this is a myth that you know, you just have to show the like responsibilities you took.
Right.
So so that, I think that is one myth which is leading to all these situations where they are putting everything which they have done under the sky. So that's number one. Number two is like even if you are putting your position of responsibility, it should come up in your like while you're sitting, it should be there, like the panelists should get it while you're sitting there, you know. So if you have been, you know, if you've been a part of a council, let's say, or a committee in your graduation, so you have got an opportunity to converse with a lot of people, and obviously you must be having that level of confidence to speak to a lot of people. But and since you have mentioned it, but you're unable to show it while you are there in the so there the panelist will get you that you have not done this and you're just writing it for the sake of doing it. So that
का एग्जांपल जो भरतनाट्यम वाला जो आपने करा था, I was as a panel in one of the B school in Mumbai. I had this girl, I was interviewing her, and she came up with a lot of confidence, and I just asked her, you know, you have done the Bharatanatyam and everything, and she wanted to go for HR, and she was like, she actually answered every single thing on her resume. Which is the second candidate who came in, I asked him that you have done XYZ certificate, I won't name it. And I asked him, you know, how does this give you a perspective towards your MBA? And the answer was, I don't know anything else to do. I only had this one certification available, so I did it. So मेरे ख्याल से वो एक अच्छा impression नहीं देता है. And that's what, you know, these you know, students, those who are aspiring for good B school, they should be understanding that when you're going for premier B schools, it actually matters that whatever things that you have on your resume, they should be good enough. You at the same time should be good enough to know them, and you should be giving that validation, or a final placement में भी आपको help करेगा. Now, coming back to the most important question, Nikita and Harshita, How's life in SIBM Pune? Apart from campus, I know it's got beautiful campus, lovely village and all that stuff. Campus को छोड़ के वो shining सब कुछ छोड़ के, how is the life in SIBM Pune? Is it that rigorous? Looking at like IMs and all that, are like chilled out? How is it?
Yeah. Okay. So joining SIBM Pune has definitely been the best decision of my life. I can vouch for that. So so it's been a year with SIBM Pune, and apart from the magnificently beautiful campus which we have and which we are staying there, apart from that, we have a really good curriculum set in SIBM Pune. So when it comes to different special, again, like at SIBM Pune, the student has to opt for the specialization right in the first year itself. So again, there are a lot of help provided by the alums, different session, different talks and everything. So there are continuously a lot of different sessions happening, and we have a lot of courses for Excel or Six Sigma certification, so on and so forth. So these things keep happening throughout the year. And when it comes to how rigorous SIBM Pune is, definitely is equal to as other top B schools, because your day starts at 6 a.m. ends at 3 a.m. You just hardly survive on 3 hours of sleep for a whole year. So again, like SIBM, and again, that's part and parcel of the MBA life. I mean, you have to give up on sleep. I mean, if you're good enough to finish off your assignments and other activities and council work within a good 12 hours or so, then you can enjoy your 8 hours of sleep or something. But then again, your sessions and they are planned that way that that you have to be on your toes and all of the time. And I feel that this kind of rigor actually prepares you for the corporate world, because yeah, because as when I look at my seniors as well, so when I talk to them about how it has helped you, and is it really necessary that an MBA student has to go to this kind of rigor, just 3 hours of sleep, running in and out here and there. But then when you just when you get out of that, you're churned so well, your personality is completely changed. I can see that in myself in just 1 year. So when it comes to SIBM Pune as well, so we are already busy with assignments, and we have different councils. It's a student driven culture we have at SIBM Pune. So anything and everything is done by the students in college, right from the, if you say, an admissions process or some cultural event, and or you talk about the placements, etc. So everything is managed by the student committees here at SIBM.
How is peer pressure? I don't want to ask peer learning, I want to ask peer pressure. How is it in SIBM Pune? Because I know the peer is like fabulous.
Like peer pressure in what terms? As in like
competition, like how competitive students are there, like when it comes to academics, when it comes to extracurricular activity, like everybody giving
a competitive environment is definitely there. I mean, as you can see in other colleges as well, SIBM Pune also there. I mean, it's a healthy competition if you go and see. And that I feel is required in an MBA life. Because there are a lot of, corporate competitions that are organized. And SIBM Pune has been like continuously, we've been acing it in a lot of corporate competitions. If you go and see our like official pages as well. So SIBM Pune students are pushed to focus more on corporate competitions as well. So here also SIBM Pune has an edge over all these things. So when it comes to these things, academically everything is quite smooth. We've got like good lectures in college, and again we have a proper course structure. But when it comes to peer pressure as such, it's not in a negative sense, but we do have a competitive environment in college, and which is beneficial for each and everyone, I would say.
Right. So, when you talk about all these things, right? So if you can just get a little bit of the specifics, like operations, HR, finance, marketing, every college has its own kind of stamp. We're known for finance, we're known for marketing, we're known for HR. Anything changed over a period of time as far as SIBM Pune as a brand is concerned? Like, finance is the best, marketing is the best, HR is the best, or everything has been given a proper weightage in SIBM Pune?
At SIBM Pune, so this is a myth which I want to clear here itself.
You are a myth buster. This is the fourth myth I'm putting in. You are a bad god. You tell me I'm a fucking myth, burst the myth. Carry on, carry on.
Yeah. So like I'll just clear this myth here only. So there's a going myth that SIBM Pune is well known for marketing and HR only, and finance and operations does not get that much attention at it should get. But that is not the case, guys. Since I myself is a finance student, and I that is not the case, because we get equal opportunities for everything, from competitions, from curriculum, good professors, good courses, good schedules, good alum speak, everything. And when it comes to placement, definitely, because there is no such bias when it comes to placing students that this particular person is from marketing or HR or finance or operations. It's all the students comes under the umbrella of SIBM Pune, and it is the responsibility of the institute, and which it takes it really well to get everyone placed at extremely esteemed companies and organizations. So, yeah.
So one thing is that start for Snap right from now. Okay, don't worry about your percentile. Keep up the good work. Give mocks and all that stuff. Eventually, you'll be able to crack it. Now, good percentile should be around about 97.5 to 98 percentile. But at the same time, for a college like SIBM Pune, you should be working on your profile at the same time. Is that something which is really important? So that's the one thing that we got to know from your side. Couple of questions are based on very placements and all that, but I think guys can look out the placement report. What's the website that you were saying, Nikita?
www.sibm.edu.
Bravo. Right, so that's the website that you guys can go on, download the placement report, and we can get to know about the placement. So overall, it's a fabulous brand, and again, I invited both of them because it's a sure hard work and profile building. So guys, thanks a lot, thanks a billion for joining me today. And I'm very sure, my guys, like, straight to some interest and even the followers, they definitely would have got kind of a good insight. Fine. So that's it from my side. Nikita and Harshita, thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for